In this video, we head to an area of Australia known as the Goldfields, find a random Chinese garden, have a look at a massive pit, and find some more salt lakes. Founded by the gold rushes of the late 19th century, we headed for Kalgoorlie, known for its gold mining industry. We headed north out of Norseman, and immediately the road felt as rugged and remote as the Nullarbor. It wasn't long before we were reminded that this is mining country. It felt wrong overtaking on a solid white line, but the convoy vehicles travel with spotters up ahead, and they signalled me to go. We took this video hoping that a stupidly big train was going to pass by. Bit disappointed. Heading into Kalgoorlie, there was one destination we wanted to go to, the Super Pit. The Super Pit is Australia's largest open pit gold mine. It's roughly 3.5 kilometres long, 1.5 kilometres wide, and 600 metres deep, with a history stretching back over 100 years. The vehicles working in the mine didn't look too big from up here. We'd soon find out just how big they were. The mine's website advertises blasting times each day and shows you where to look inside the pit to see the explosions happening. This guy was a wee bit impatient.
Any indication where this explosion is supposed to be?
It's just down there.
The noise came quite a bit after the...
I didn't hear any sirens.
The pit uses water and monitors weather to ensure that there's minimal impact of dust on the local town. The town itself certainly feels like something out of the gold rush era. Don't think I've ever seen a post office this grandiose looking. The architecture certainly made it feel a bit like stepping back in time. Then we wanted to learn a little bit more about the mining, so we headed to Hannan's Outdoor Museum. Hannan's North Tourist Mine was one of the first mines in the area, named after Paddy Hannan, who in June 1893 found gold. This modern-day refuge chamber is one of over 30 attractions. The replica 1894 dynamite room tells how explosives were shipped originally from Scotland, unloaded in Fremantle, and had to travel to Kalgoorlie by camel. It took 4 to 6 months to go from factory to mines. Safe to say conditions for early miners were pretty brutal. The museum also features modern day mining equipment, with this room just full of different types of drill. The museum also has a two-up shed. Two-up is a form of gambling using 2 coins. Wagers are placed on whether they'll land heads or tails. Normally only played on Anzac Day, Kalgoorlie and Broken Hill are the only 2 places where you can legally play all year round.
Well, that was terrible. Try again. And the winner is tails.
Tails. Oh no, heads.
One of each. This is known as odds, and nobody wins in this scenario. The original head frame for the Hannan's North mine remains in place. As does the winder room, which would be used to pull gold ore to the surface. Some pretty massive equipment here. The remains of a ute or pickup truck are also on display. This is what remains of the ute after they drove one of the dump trucks that operate in the mines over it. The conditions in the mid-1900s certainly improved pretty quickly. This car had echoes of Cunalda Homestead. Entrances to old mine shafts aren't part of the museum, they're just part of the landscape. This is the second mining site we've been to in Australia.
Yeah.
The last place we went on holiday before coming to Australia was Poland, where we went to a mine. Do we like mines and
Apparently.
trains? Trains, trams and mines seems to be our things. But
The
yeah,
trains and the trams is more Rory's thing.
shut up. You like them too.
Yeah.
They didn't look that big in the super pit, but up close. Check out the size of this thing. That's the tyre, that's the wheel. That's the tread, and that's Anna's hat. Jeez. The flattened ute we saw earlier was part of a safety demonstration. These things are so massive that they have millions of blind spots. Do you know what goes perfectly with heavy machinery? A Chinese garden of remembrance. While it seemed a little bit of a juxtaposition, the garden was built to recognise the many different cultures and those that came from many different countries to help create the mining industry in Australia. It was a really peaceful way to end our trip here, before hitting the road again to travel across to Southern Cross. Roads like this really give a sense of how vast this place is. We stopped in at a place called Coolgardie, half an hour west of Kalgoorlie. The super pit didn't allow drones to be flown above it. Thankfully, there's plenty of old, disused mines around. Pulling into Southern Cross, there was a piece of pipe randomly at the side of the viewpoint. Southern Cross can be seen as either the last town on the edge of the wheat belt or the first town on the eastern goldfields. Where are we?
Southern Cross. Well, at the moment it's full of flies.
We're like in the middle of Western Australia, where the goldfields meet the wheat belt, apparently. A wee place called Southern Cross. It's nice enough, but 38 degrees today, quite hot, and there's a ton of flies around. Yeah, love Australia in summer. Fucking flies! Just east of town are the remains of an old reservoir, as well as another disused gold mine. A short drive from town, you can find remnants of the initial settlers. This well was dug in 1865 by Charles Hunt's working party. The well could supply 10 bullocks, 10 horses and 15 men with water for a month. It was established to supply people exploring the goldfields. This salt lake, which is meant to be pink, also served as a water source through building of channels to the wells. You can't come to this part of the world without visiting the site of the longest fence in the world. The cemetery made for some grim reading and proved just how difficult and brutal it was to live here in the early years of its settlement. So we're in a place called Southern Cross, which is on the goldfields. So a lot of people came here searching for gold. It's a very dry place in the middle of the outback, and we'll come to the cemetery just to see some of the reasons people had died. A lot of typhoid, but also a lot of people listed as thirst or probably thirst, which isn't really surprising. It's really, really dry out here. Just across from us, not sure if you'll see it in the camera there, but is the longest water pipeline in the world. Is that right? Huh. Anyway, what we think is the longest water pipeline in the world, it runs from Perth to Kalgoorlie, which is where we've been already, which still has active gold mines. This area still has active gold mines, so yeah, you can see the need for water here. A quick Google tells us it was, and still is, the longest water pipe in the world. The water pipe at the viewpoint made a bit more sense now, given that it used to be connected to the longest water system in the world. We went for a quick peruse around their museum. The museum had many exhibits showing handmade or repurposed items, essential in this part of the world. It also had a section of the water pipe, and an earlier version of water pipe made from wood, which wasn't so functional. And then it was time to leave Southern Cross and head on to our next destination, with one last sight of that water pipe. The next section took us along quite a lot of unsealed roads, as we were excitingly going to see a rock. So if you like rocks, definitely stick around and watch our next one.